tell you about the tourism minister. Lindiwe Sisulu says there's been a significant influx of international travelers between January and June of this year, and locally there were more domestic trips taken over with 50 million recorded, or 50 million of them recorded. Newzroom Afrika's Nasiphi Same is joining us to talk us through what it is that she is seeing and hearing as we mark Tourism Month. Nasiphi?
Indeed, Juju. I mean, we spoke earlier on, I was in Cape Town. Now I am making my first stop along the West Coast. As you do understand, as I mentioned, as much as the weather is gloomy, it will not dampen the trip and us exploring the West Coast. But to talk to us more, I'm joined by the owner of the pit stopper. We're at Route 27 Roosterkoek. But also on those numbers, which is a significant increase, about 114% more than 2020. And this obviously follows that devastating lockdown and the impact that it had on the tourism and hospitality industry. Sir, thank you so much for your time. But you are the first stop leading into the West Coast, which we will start exploring soon. But talk to us, what can people expect when they get here?
First of all, thank you and good morning, everybody. The West Coast is the friendliest place, I think, in Southern Africa. And what you can expect at Route 27, we're the first stop on the R27 leaving Cape Town. We're about 45 kilometers north. And this is where your journey would start exploring. We've got Kwatu, the sand village, up front, about 2 kilometers away. We've got Eiserfontein, Langebaan, the West Coast National Park. We've got Paternoster with all its wonderful people going up into the regions of the West Coast. So that is basically what you can expect. It's good food, it's good people, friendliness, a lot of activities. The beaches, which is beautifully kept. And our national roads, it's also in an amazing condition. And it's now flower season.
On that note of the people that are coming in here, we're hearing from the tourism industry, or the SA Tourism, that in the last 6 months there's been over 15 million trips, in the tourism sector. But talk to us about the people that are actually coming in here.
Yeah, mainly, it's actually, you're quite correct. It started about 6 months ago. We start seeing the Germans, and at that point of time, after lockdown, it's the surface, the kite surface, and then your general tourists that they didn't at this point didn't want to go to Kruger, and they chose the West Coast for some reason. And then the French came, Italians. We even saw some Canadians, Americans. And we keep records of them here in terms of the average spend and what they do and activities that they do. And this is now from leisure in Paternoster, good food in Langebaan, Eiserfontein, etc., etc. So, and now, of course, the flowers. So now we've got the busloads full coming in again. And we're so blessed that they stop here.
Thank you so much. I am joined by another guest at line. Our next stop is Darling. Just quickly for us, what can people expect, or what makes Darling a tourism spot along the West Coast?
Yeah. Darling becomes more an attraction this time of the year, during the month of September. It's springtime, and as the other guest mentioned, it's now flower season. So really, the main attraction now is flowers. But other than flowers, we have the Darling Beer Breweries, which is a very popular craft beer. In Cape Town especially. So that draws a lot of visitors to Darling too. Other than that, we know Darling is known for in years back for its textile industry, and also for its dairy industry. So we have we have the Darling milk and cheeses, and also a household name, Vita Beset Note, resides in Darling also.
We'll have to leave it today. Thank you so much. Information overload in terms of our next stop, which is Darling, as to why it is such a tourist destination along the West Coast. But tomorrow we can expect the tourism minister to be on the West Coast to officially launch Tourism Month, as we do know that this is the period where there's a concerted effort to get South Africans to explore some corners of the country and also enjoy what South South Africa has to offer, and just step out of their comfort zones, taking into account how devastating the COVID-19 impact has been in the last 2 years for the industry.
Nasiphi Same, thank you, darling.